politician or one, you know, lawyer who usually be the one who lobbying for something like that, who usually push it, who always bringing all the evidence, you know, the criminals this, the gangs that, you know what I mean, X, Y, Z. Usually that's how it go. You know what I mean? So where are we talking about now? I mean, not where. Who is the, as far as you remember, who is the person who you know what I mean? Who been pushing for it?
Yeah.
Let's say if they say like more than much people, 8 or something like that, they're going to be open with them or something. Yeah.
Say that one more time, huh?
Oh, so I guess something else we was talking about that probably about 2 years, something like that ago. They were saying concerning that anti-gang legislation, and they say they got between 8 and 20 people or something like that. You know, they could get some kind of warrant or some kind of order from the court, and they bring in, and within half an hour you have to disperse from the areas. Like how Jameson used to come up, he used to say, you know, I do your thing, and they were sent for men, because I think they do the Jameson already, they run them off the block, but yeah, the tongue and the promenade there. But I think they have produced the thing, and they're supposed to produce the legislation showing them like, you know, they're looking like a gang of many cases. With the mental thing or whatever, and they just run them off, but then I think nothing serious also.
I mean, yeah, whatever happened with anybody else, that's irrespective. But for now, okay, what you have to look at is who is this supposed to target? You understand? Who is this supposed to target? That's the real aim of it. You understand what I'm saying? But that's what I want to know. Who was the one who was pushing for it? Who's been lobbying for it all the time? Go ahead.
I can't recall, but I believe it's the TNM government. I believe it's the, I can't recall what.
And as far as I remember, there ain't no one person who, you know, took it up, who always in the news talking about the gangs, or always in the news talking about, you know, what we have to do. We have to stop this one, we have to stop that one, X, Y, Z.
I believe it's the PNM, because I can recall at a time in the parliament, she did not agree to the anti-gang legislation at a point in time.
Right.
And keep lobbying, and then she ended up agreeing, and when it now passed. So I believe what the PNM government will push through. Right?
Okay.
I.S. we did some here, right? So I.S.
Go ahead.
In all the circumstances, this government was keen to ensure that only upon official consultation and confirmation by stakeholders that instructions were issued for the proclamation of the anti-gang legislation.
See, all that to me is just disrespectful talk, because I don't understand one thing you just read. Too much, you know. Organization or the declaration or the proclamation and the anti-gang relations. And that's what them politicians be doing to us. Them politicians write something that tell you, nigga, I'm gonna kick your door and you can't do shit about it. And just write it to sound like that. And you don't really know what, you know, you don't fully understand what about to start happening to you. You get what I'm saying? And that's why I wanna get to the root of it, where, you know, usually when those things start happening, there's one or two politicians who have been, you know, pushing for it more than anything else. You know what I mean? These gangs gotta go. There's a he's not a full politician, but he's I guess he's in the politics world and he's trying to build himself up. His name is Michael Alexander. I think it's Michael. Kind of half Indian dude. You always going live, always talking about the government. You all know who I'm talking about?
I'm familiar about that. Can I call place to the name?
Boy. That's not, man. I'm trying to look him up here now. What the hell is this fool's name, man? I can't even see him no more, but something, I think it's Alexander is his name. Where he always is lobbying about one thing or the other. He's always pushing one thing or the other. You know what I mean? Pushing for it. One second. Oh no, I'm missing. Maybe it's not Alexander. Maybe it's Edwards. He's a politician. He look Indian, but I ain't sure what he is. But he always, you know, he always has something to talk about. Always, you know, has some incident going on, some political something going on. Really, what he's doing is he's lobbying now. He's trying to build himself up as a political leader for the future, right? His I think the name of his party is People's Alliance. He's trying to form a political party, but he doing it, you know, the old school way, where you're not with either of the two political powers right now. You coming up against them both, and you trying to show yourself as if you for the people. You get me? And that's what he is doing. I sit down and watch him a couple times because I wanted to get a vibe of what, you know, what was going on. And he's talking about current topics. But he's I most believe he's a heathen. I most believe he's a heathen. But I want to find out someone like him who's been talking about the gangs in that way, talking about the violence, talking about the crime in that way. That's who you really need to pin this on. And that's who's going to show you what is the real objective or the real motive of what they call it, Galawan?
The anti-gang legislation.
The anti-gang legislation. And this is something that was passed when?
It is in effect on tomorrow.
Speak up again, let me hear you.
Okay, sir. I was looking online just now for the anti-gang legislation. I see two documents. I see one from 2011 and one from 2017. So that's like an updated one, and the one that I see updated is from 2017. Like probably there's a difference or whatever changes they make and establish it in the parliament around that time. So that's like the anti-gang legislation of 2017.
And who was the party in power at that time?
UNC. United National Congress. Yeah.
And at that time they initially turned it down.
It was in effect, yeah.
Go ahead.
Like so, they use that legislation already to arrest youths on the Nelson Street.
Nelson Street, yeah.
And when they arrest them and put them in jail for a couple of days, they didn't find no charges on them.
Oh, yeah.
So they just basically add additions to the bill, but they use that bill already in the past in a state of emergency.
Right, nice. Yeah, very good. Very. So like I said, that's when they went around. So like I said, I was saying, right? That was a time when they was passing around. And there's not a lot of gang members trying to weed out now, but it's frustrating people under the state of emergency that's locking up plenty youths now. There was a big thing, they were just locking up men. When Nelson beat them, everybody get the lock up real men. And they have to let them out like 3 days after, something like that. Because as I was saying, they can't work for more than 72 hours without something to hold them on and without something to charge them on. Yeah, because I know they can't hold them on more than 72 hours without charging them.
Okay. Go ahead from there, Akim. Or Masimba.
Akim.
Slide the camera over a little bit to your left. So Akim, half of Akim's face was showing. Slightly over, yeah. Just a little bit.
Better?
Yeah, that's solid there now. With the other brothers have slave, and I know Sudaka the slave.
So I guess in Nigeria shortly.
And where Masimba?
Canada.
Oh man, listen, man, goddamn. I watch it. I don't know. I'm watching you there, but I'm like, Masimba ain't there. Somebody else. Who's this? Who's the next man? Rocky? Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky anyway also.
Okay, ain't no sweat. All right, cool. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, yeah, also when the suspected gang members, as I say, was held and released.
Right.
There are also some follow-up articles where they end up pursuing the government in the court, and they also won a lot of money for being wrongfully arrested.
Right. That sound perfectly correct, because brother, that there is discrimination. It's something like stop and frisk. You ever heard of stop and frisk? Right, the stop and frisk law, which was made famous in New York under, I believe, Rudy Giuliani. That's similar to that in its premise or its purpose, where you leaving it up to the average police officer to make a judgment, or to make a reasonable judgment. You get my point? Now, the average police officer, brother, I try to say this in the best and most professional way. Goodbye, outside of laugh. I ain't how to tell you, because in Trinidad, I'm talking about the brothers, the actual brothers who might be in the police force. The police force is, okay, boy, the average cop act is not smart. You understand? He's not an intelligent, he's not a highly intelligent person. That's why the whole job description is so physical, right? Of course, they're going to tell you, make an arrest, write up papers, but they glorify when you could, kick down somebody's door and crack their head open. They glorify when you could slam somebody into the ground and, shoot 10 people without getting shot, because the job doesn't require you to think. It just requires you to show up and just do. You get the point? That's all it requires you to do, to show up and to do. And okay, this is somebody who is, for all intents and purposes, was prone to being violent. You get the point? That's who would be your police. Your police force started with your slave patrols, which was poor white trash who hated black people. Who okay, they didn't have any more love for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians than the rich slave owners, but they were more base and brutal in their thinking, common thinking, low thinking people, right? When you see that white trash from, wherever, Wyoming, Dakota, Oklahoma, with no teeth or one big front teeth, and always chewing on weed, Yeah, man, yeah, Pa, get him, Pa, and Billy Bob, and them, that type of white man, he is just a base creature, right? And that's the fathers of your police force. You get the point? That's the father of your police force, and that the tradition follows that immensely physically violent gang. You understand? Like they making laws against the anti-gang, but the police force is a gang. It's men who get up in the same uniform, walk around with guns and bulletproof vests. They have a leader, and they would infringe on your rights. They would rob you if they could. How many cop stories have you heard about cops raping some woman in an arrest or killing her in a search? How much times out of the day you ever hear that happen? You understand? How much times you hear? No, cops pull over brothers and they do find weed in the car. Sometimes cops plant the weed on the brothers, right? So if cops is planting weed, where is they getting the weed from? If they pull you over, you ain't got nothing. They put their hands in your pocket and they come up with weed. Where's they getting the weed from?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Hold on, wait, Sean, what are you telling me? You selling it to them? Sean's like, yes, sir, I do have a 2 for $5 special. Like, flash your badge, get a pump for free.
The one that they end up in the pocket now, right? And then they pet mice on them, the pet mice that they train now. That half you lock about how much million in weed.
Say that one more time?
The rat now, they pet mice on them. The one that they blame for when you have a ton of weed missing and lock up now. Right. Yeah.
Right. Wait, hold on. You had to explain that for the people, because I don't think people realize how it's a different world once you leave America. I'm telling you straight up. But for those of you who didn't hear, how much million they found in weed?
About how much million? I think it was about 18 tons or something so. Yeah, about that. Put double figures in tons.
It's 18
tons.
18 tons of weed, right? You with me, Ark? 18 tons. That's what they found. Testing 1 1. Goodbye. You hear me?
Con 1 con.
It look like they drop. See, as soon as we start talking about the damn cops and the government, they drop.
Right.
Right. Don't sweat. I'm gonna continue it until they get back. I might have to eject them and then invite them back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now this is since I'm a little boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trinidad has, it's an island. Trinidad Tobago is the other island. There's a few islands off the north coast, right? It's locally called down the islands. And so if somebody say going down the islands, you're going to visit one of them smaller little cluster islands off the north coast, right? The northwestern side. And the people who have houses down there is rich, multi-millionaires, usually heathens, right? They used to have these guest homes on the waterfront with a boat down there, and you could go down there. No, I mean, every so often, the police would find, cocaine or guns or weed in them houses down the island worth, with a street value of 50 million, 25 million, right? But they're finding these in the houses of rich businessmen. But yet still, when they kick in the doors, they kick in the doors of poor Black and Hispanic and Native Indian people in the Beetham, in Laventille, Mova, John, Labrador Point. You understand? So now, anytime they find one of them big, big shipments, they bring the evidence in. They pile it up on the TV. The usual politicking thing to get mileage out of it. Pile it up on a table on the TV. The police commissioner put on his best khaki suit that he was in. Come out, well, commend all the officers today on a fine work, blah, 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 blah. And they tell you how much. And within 2 weeks, half the weed disappear or half the cocaine disappear.
Outside of the streets.
Right? It's gone. Ain't nobody know where it is. And then this police commissioner will get up on TV and say rats ate the crack. With a straight face, tell the whole nation, we have a rat problem. And, you know, we found that the rats got into the evidence room and the rats ate the cocaine. Well, brother, I need to see some rats, you know, driving cars. I need to see some rats doing some amazing shit if they eat all damn cocaine. But that disappearing into somebody's pocket because a shipment that big, it ain't just one player, it's multiple players coming together for a shipment that big. And they're not going to take that loss altogether. They rather send some men to execute your whole family. So they make a little call. Somebody leave the door open, a van pull up. We ain't going to take all of it, but we got to get back something. We got to get back some of our money. And, you know, half disappear. That's a normal occurrence. Get the point? That's a normal occurrence. So what Sean was going to say something about where they get it from. He gone?
So I think we go into the washroom.
Okay, no sweat. I'm looking for a video here, brother. It is going to blow your mind. Hold on. Bear with me one. In the meantime, Galawan, just read the article there for me real quick.
Anti-gang legislation.
Yeah.
Right, I just read it to the part that I just wrote. Right? Anti-gang legislation in effect from tomorrow. Right, I read it from the Sunday's Express. Right, this is the Sunday's Express. The ministry said it received letters of support for the proclamation of the Act of the Commissioner of Police and the Judiciary. The legislation makes it an offense. Right, the anti-gang legislation makes it an offense to be a member of a gang, to be in possession of a bulletproof vest, to participate in or contribute to activities of a gang, to support or invite support for a gang, or to harbor or conceal gang members, or to recruit persons to a gang. Says the act will give police the authority to arrest anyone without a warrant who he has reasonable cause to believe is a gang leader.
Right? So he have the act gives the average cop on the street act the full authority without any bridle on him, without any control, that he can make a decision on whether you're a gang leader or not. Right? Now, just think, everybody went to school. Just understand this. The average cop, he ain't trained to do that job. You understand? He's not prepared to do that type of a game. What they're asking him to do, they're asking him to sit and assess a person and decide if they're a gang leader or not. Now, does the act say anything about does it give a description or outline of a gang leader?
Nah, does not.
So then, what is the cop using as his yardstick to decide if this person is a gang leader or not?
So like he's using his own discretion. If he feels, you understand, he's a gang member, his own discretion he's using, how he feels.
Okay, so if it's how he feels, give me...
Salakia.
Go ahead.
He's gonna be using his own mind, his own feeling, and then his own experience, and what he's seen, or what his understanding is of someone that is a gang member, which might be biased based on his life experience.
Now we getting somewhere. You're the brother, right? It's going to be based on his personal life experience. So if he's the boy who couldn't get no girls, never played sports, and Andrew used to take all the girlfriends from him. Andrew scoring all the goals in school and playing all the football. Andrew's damn hero. He coming to school the next day, the principal, shaking his hand, calling him for lunch. And Andrew's a bully boy. This boy grew up, joined the police force. Who's the gang leader? Andrew's the gang leader. Now we kicking in Andrew door. And anybody who look like Andrew, anybody who smell like Andrew, anybody who reminds him of that time when, I slapped your lunch out your hand and I made you cry in front of the girls. Anybody who, if Andrew was wearing a red Jordans that day, this nigga could be 36 years old, arresting everybody in red Jordans. That's who's going to be your gang leader. You understand? While all the cocaine and all the guns is in a house in Valsade. Is in a house, down west, what is Westmoreland? Right up in the hills where Brian Lara house is. All the cocaine gonna be down the islands. You get the point? But somebody looking like Andrew is the gang leader. You understand? That's the problem. That's the problem. I'm gonna need some time with this. I just looked up the act, the anti-gang bill of 2017. I'm gonna need some time to dissect this and take this apart, brother. Okay, hold on. Okay, now listen to this part, right? Somebody pull it up. One of the brothers in the room, whoever have a phone close by, pull up the anti-gang bill 2017. What you have to do?
Yeah. That's the page.
Go to page 8.
Yeah.
All right, go to page 8. Also, to Galawan, stuff like this, not just you, but everybody want to get in the habit of saving it, downloading it. These are tools, right? But right now, because of Christianity, it's a tool used by our oppressor. You understand? But now that you're in the truth, you can realize that these documents are tools. And they can be used for us as well. Right? So anytime you come across anything like this, you wanna check it out. Go look it up online, download it, order a copy. I believe you could go in the damn parliament and get one of these free. You're supposed to. Right? You're supposed to be even able to go and sit in when they're passing a bill. Right? Once you go just down there and just sit down and listen to what the justification they're giving is going to make you a more effective teacher, because you're gonna have to explain this to a brother or a sister who just don't understand. So give me from verse 8.
From page 8, sir? Yeah. Number 2? I
mean page 8, Salaki.
In the book, sir. All right. This is the anti-gang legislation 2017, page 8 at section 2. A person who contravenes subsection commits an offense and is liable on conviction on indictment.
Hold on. I think you're in the wrong place. Hold on.
Salaki.
No, Salaki, page 2. Salaki. I don't know how the hell I reached the 8. Give me page 2.
Oh. Okay. All right. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. The anti-gang bill 2017, explanatory notes. These notes form no part of the bill, but are intended only to indicate its general purport.
No. Not the second page. Look to the top. Keep flipping the page until you see page 2 with the number 2 at the top. Like not the second page, but you want to go down to part 5. After part 5, miscellaneous. It's about the 8th or 9th page down, and then you will see the actual bill, right? The bill is an act to make provisions for the maintenance of public safety, blah, 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 blah. And then the next page, it goes more into the bill.
Yes, sir. I read?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. And whereas the Constitution also recognizes the existence of the right of the individual to equality before the law and the protection of the law, and whereas the Constitution places a duty on the state to protect, promote, and fulfill the above-mentioned fundamental human rights and freedoms. Beyond?
Right. So now the state must protect the fundamental human rights and freedoms of everybody, right?
Okay.
All right, let's keep going.
Right. And whereas there has been a rapid growth of criminal gang activity within the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and whereas criminal gang activity infringes on the rights and freedoms of individuals as enshrined under the Constitution, and whereas it is the right of every person to be protected from fear, intimidation, and physical harm caused by the criminal activity of violent gangs.
All right, stop right there. Read that last paragraph again.
Done. And whereas it is the right of every person to be protected from fear, intimidation, and physical harm caused by the criminal activity of violent gangs.
What's you all getting? What do you all understand by that so far? Salak.
Yes, sir. Excuse me. When you almost success to be on the street talking about Jesus.
And listen, you know how to forgive them brothers, Ax. Like, yeah, sure. John, look, as soon as he gets some rank and a few men, he gonna whoop everybody out. You mother. Let them brothers go out. Forget about them for now. But I feel it. But something else though. Go ahead, Clyde.
So like yes, sir, they want to control your speech because they could deem your speech as intimidating to people.
Okay, that's true. That's true. That's true. I read it one more time. Read it one more time.
Right? And whereas right? And whereas it is the right of every person to be protected from fear, intimidation, and physical harm caused by the criminal activity of violent gangs.
Okay. Just clear your mind of everything else and let's just think on this here. What is that thing saying?
Okay.
Go ahead.
That the state has an obligation to protect every citizen from each one of these things that are labeled here, which are, i.e., from violent criminal gangs.
Okay, so now there's something else still that, okay, I don't know if you're getting it.
Yes, sir.
Come on, Gaba.
That the state needs to protect you from the police.
You onto it. You onto it. Come on, who else, Sean?
I don't know if I'm going to the other side now. That I was thinking along this line though. That that when fear and people get fear instead of them and intimidated by the truth. So when like they come out and bring the history and bring like what's going to happen with the judgment that these people are going to face, they get fearful, they get all these different things. So the truth now is very offensive to people in general.
Okay. In a way, yes and no. What you saying is similar to what the brothers in the UK face. The brothers in the UK face, okay, if once someone is offended and calls 911, it's, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, somebody called 911 because they had black Jesus. We had a depiction of Yahweh who was black, and somebody called, you know, called the police, and it was for the picture, and they were offended, even though the Bible says he was black, and the cops had to come up. You get the point? So it's going there, but okay, this is what you're not seeing. This bill says it's okay for the police to intimidate you and do you fear and give you physical harm. This bill says it. It gives the police full out right to kick your door in, put an AK in your wife's mouth, yoke your children up, and tell you if you don't tell me where Andrew living, you know, this thing could go bad. Read it one more time, Sean.
Okay. And whereas it is the right of every person to be protected from fear, intimidation, and physical harm caused by the criminal activity of violent gangs. God, yes, sir.
So now give it to me. Help me understand.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So the gangs, so the police and them, who gonna police the police because there's the violent gangs that are gonna do all these different things to us.
Okay, slight bit different because no, you're right. That's it. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. It's telling you the government have a right to protect you against the violent gangs. But what about what the police is doing to you? There's no protection against that.
Right.
So, go ahead.
Just I said, looking at the wording, right?
Mm-hmm.
Protected from fear, intimidation, physical harm by the criminal activity of violent gangs.
Right.
It's a label of what description of a criminal violent gang is. But if those same tactics are used by the police, they will be non-criminalized, absolved from that.
Fine, because they are not a violent criminal gang in name. Yes. You understand? They are the TTPS. This bill is giving them a license to be a legal gang.
Like I said.
We have gang problems, so you know what we'll do? Instead of lowering the price of bread, instead of, you know, devoting $50 million in a job program that we really don't need, but we need brothers to have money so they don't have to rob nobody. You know, we make a $50 million hiring program, so for a year, these brothers, all they had to do is clean the grass around the school, or, you know, show up and, you know, build a foundation to find something. Instead of doing that, you know what we do? We create a bigger gang. You have a gun? I had to fight you. I must go buy a gun. You have a knife. I have to fight you. I must go get a knife. We have a problem with gangs. I need to fight the gangs. I don't solve the problem of why the gangs are being formed. I just make a bigger gang and make it legal for them to kill the other gangs. You understand? That is exactly what's going on here with this bill. What's going on? It freeze up again? Goodbye. Are you on or are you off?
I'm on, sir.
Are you on? Good night.
Welcome. There you go.
I think somewhere in this bill is internet classes. You look through this bill, look on page 21 and see if there are any internet classes streaming talking about you're a black Jew. Cut it. Cut it off. Cut it off. Don't show shit.
Yeah.
Cut it off. Right? Go ahead,
Is this bill, as she says, similarly draft like how that is Blue Lives Matter bill? Where, you know, it absolves the police from almost any wrongdoing. I think if you do anything other than you will be criminally liable.
Okay. Say that again, the Blue Lives Matter bill. What was that?
I heard that there's a bill that will be passed in Congress that if you resist arrest or a police or you harm a police in any way, there's like a mandatory charge of 10 years.
Okay. This is some recent first time I'm hearing about it, but okay. You're talking about in America, right? Gabar?
Yeah, that's a Blue Lives Matter bill. Just got passed, I think, last week.
Okay.
Where it was like the brother was saying, if a policeman is in your presence or you're in a police presence, if the police feels any way in danger of physical harm or whatever the case is, like say he grabs my arm and I pull away, but he thinks I'm going to backhand him, then the individual can face up to 10 years for whatever it is that he thinks you were trying to do. And that was passed by Trump. In Congress.
Yo, everybody just buy handcuffs. So when you see the cop pull up behind us, handcuff yourself. Make the shit easy. Just handcuff yourself and put your windows on. Yeah, officer, I already did it. I'm not resisting. Yeah, I mean, he's still gonna find some way to say it was resisting.
Right.
Right? Okay, I ain't even heard about that, but shit. I would have thought it was like that, before. That's why niggas was running. Ain't nobody trying to, stand up and negotiate with no cop. But
right.
Okay, it's similar to that. It's empowering a gang. You know what I mean? And brothers who, have a little background in the streets is similar where you have a rival gang. Now you have to make your men stronger. You have to make your men more, you have to empower them to do whatever they have to do to rival this guy. You understand? To rival this crew, to sell more, to move more product. You had to do what you had to do, or else the other gang will eat you up. So they're both in the same vein, but ultimately, what are they both for?
Like I said,
Come on.
Initiate fear and intimidation, control.
In who?
In the public one. Those who are.
So
Go ahead, Clyde.
bill basically is made to control our people, and control what we saying, control we gathering.
Okay, don't think so much for the truth. Just think Israel. You understand?
That is exactly what it made for us, because the last time they did it down here, in the state of emergency, they just went down into areas where we people populating, and if they see with a vest on and they outside around 9 o'clock, he's a gang member and they just grab you up. That would did it.
That's it. It's to oppress the poor. You understand? It's to oppress the poor. It's to do violence to the Lord's people. It's to keep them in the fear. It's to keep them in fear. The white man, he has an old saying, you got to keep the scare on. Meaning you have to keep niggas scared. You have to intimidate. You have to keep us, always jumpy and antsy and panicky. You have to keep us like that, or else we'll get together and rise up. So both bills is really for that. Because ain't nobody none of them bills is for, you know, European or the East Indian or the Chinese or the African. You get the point? Yeah, I mean, every country and every city have a Chinatown. Trinidad have a Chinatown? I don't think we have a Chinatown. I know we have a Chinese association, though. I know there's the Chinese association. That's, you know, you remember that Chinese minister Yet Ming? He was the first chink to ever be in parliament. And what was one of the first things he did when he went into parliament? Say again?
Bring more Chinese countries.
Well, shit, he was doing that without the parliament. When he went in there, remember, he changed the dress code. He was the one who didn't want to wear the shirt and tie. He wanted to wear the, you know, the Chinese shirt. And it was a big issue, and everybody was like, that's his culture, let him wear it. You understand? They have a strong Chinese association that they are a gang. This anti-gang bill is not for them. You understand? This anti-gang bill is not for them. And them Chinese is in gangs. I have the video when they had the hit on the Chinese couple who was a relation to some rich Chinese man. In front of the restaurant, and the two brothers run up on them and one of the guns jam. I have the video still. It was no robbery. Ain't nobody steal no car. Ain't nobody rape no woman. It was a hit. Why? Because the Chinese are involved in drugs and gangs. This anti-gang bill is not for them. You understand? This is to empower the TCPS, which is the biggest gang in Trinidad, to be more violent to anyone else. You understand? Nigel, you had your hand up?
Answer.
Go ahead.
The bill is drafted because of Israel's culture. We are more naturally, I would say, aggressive or say easily agitated. So in the essence, when you go in response to us, with the police, you'll get much more activity.
Say that one more time.
I would say because of our culture, where we are, or who we are always a resistive type of people. So when a law like this comes about, it likely targets the persons who will be the targets of this, and those who tend to resist because of our culture.
That's what they want you to think. That's what they want you to think. And okay, this is, I understand why you said what you said, and I want everybody to remember what Nigel said. And this is why the UPK is unlike any other anything. Black church, black organization, black group, pro, black, this, whatever. Right? And Nigel, what you said, I understand why you said it. And in this context, I'm not going to charge you for it, but I do understand why you say it. That is what they want us to think. They want everyone else to think so, but more importantly, they want us to think, well, we are more violent than anybody, so they had to pass the law. We are more resistive than anybody, so they got to pass the law. We push back more than anybody, so they got to pass the law. Our kids are rebellious, so they got to pass the law for us. Since I was 2 years old, the most wanted man in Trinidad and Tobago has always been an East Indian. Always. Always. The most dangerous man in Trinidad and Tobago has always been an East Indian, and I could call names. Dole Chady, the Dayal brothers. You remember Dayal? Tony and Mukesh Dayal? There's two brothers from Penal. They did a bank robbery in at the bottom of Cipero Street in San Fernando. Robbed a bank. It was a big bank job. It was about 10 of them. It was maybe how much million? I want to say maybe $3 million back then. This was probably in the early 90s. Some of the men, I think somebody got shot. Somebody didn't make it out of the robbery. There was police involved with them. Whatever happened is, the two brothers did not get all the money. They made a public statement, not in the papers, but, you know, word of mouth. You know, we did the robbery together. You all come up with the money or else it's going to be hell to pay. Nobody came up with the money. Them two mama went on a shooting rampage, shooting up police stations, shooting up policemen's houses, killing policemen's families, until they had a big shootout right there in Gulf City, the Link Road. This is right by Gulf City Mall, across the street when they just brought the KFC in and the Pizza Hut. It was just when they brought that in. About 10 police cars caught them brothers and did not arrest them. They got out the car and unloaded on that car. Killed them two not brothers like Israel, but the two Dayal brothers. Because they was the most dangerous men in the country. And they were East Indian. You understand? Anybody know who Anthony Bridgelal is? Anthony Lizard Bridgelal. You know the name Lizard?
Yeah.
Anybody remember who he is? He's old school now.
Yeah.
Nobody remember? Anthony Lizard Bridgelal had some ties with Dolce and other powerful men, and also Ramesh Lawrence Mirage, who is who he used to be. He was the Attorney General. Before he became the Attorney General, what was he? He was a lawyer for who?
Dolce.
He was a lawyer for the most dangerous man in the country, who was Dolce, another East Indian. Anthony Lizard Bridgelal had notes and tapes of all the meetings between the politicians and the drug dealers. He was going to hand it over to the Express. He got a call saying, meet the Express man somewhere in Port of Spain at some time in the night. And of course, he being simple, went down there and got lit up. Killed. You understand? They have, what's the other one who just died the other day? The one who they buried with the $2 million in gold? Sharon something. Right. So don't tell me, this is not to you and Nigel. I understand why you said it. But you have to learn to fight back the whole thought pattern of we are a dangerous people. Because everything around you is going to seem like that's what it is. That's why they put so much money into Hollywood. You ever sit down and watch Hollywood? The other day, I'm watching this thing, Law and Order. Is Law and Order? Or SVU, one of them crime shows, right? And brother, they're doing the thing that people expect. You gotta get a warrant to come in here. You gotta do this. And I'm like, how is these shows still on TV if that's not the reality? The reality is a cop don't gotta show you shit. You'll suffer the consequences later. The TV is their witchcraft to society. They show it enough, people believe it, people think that's how it goes. You get pulled over, hey officer, what's the problem? Step out of the car, man. But I didn't do anything. Get out the car. But you have 10 years of watching Law and Order in your mind. I'm going to get my lawyer. I'm going to bap, and he starts whooping you behind. It doesn't matter. Because that's not how life goes. When you see Hollywood spend millions to make black people criminals, and black people thugs, and women whores, and lesbians, and sluts, it's not by coincidence. It's to make the whole perception be, when you see another brother, and you can't see his face too well, and he looking a little hard, damn, I'll prepare myself. He might try something. And he looking at you the same way. All because you all both saw the same movie. You get the point? So now when we pass the anti-gang bill, and I start kicking in doors and beat them, what does the public say?
Okay, sir.
Go ahead.
That gang related, don't worry about that.
That's gang related. Don't worry about that. The beat them full of gangs, full of drugs. You get the point? Go ahead, Nigel. I saw you had your hand up.
Okay, so the point I was trying to get was like the most affected group, quote unquote, would be like the same lab until, because those are the areas they would definitely target.
Right.
But because of our culture, quote unquote, the view is, like how you said it, that it will affect us the most. Because they wouldn't go in, those are penal, they wouldn't go in all those areas.
Right.
It's like until Beaton and all the areas where we and our culture are, quote unquote, with Israelis.
Right. That's who they will target. But they justify it by everything that went before. You understand? They justify it by everything that has went before. Give me hold on. Psalm 69 and 26.
Cancer.
Go ahead.
The book of Psalms, chapter 69, verse 26. For they persecute him whom thou hast smitten.
Like the Lord already is punishing us out. That's why we're in captivity. You understand? That's why we are at the bottom of society. The Lord is already against us. And that's something this world doesn't teach. This world teaches that, you know, kick somebody when they're down. You get the point? This world teaches that even the Bible tells you, don't laugh at your enemy in their time when they're down, because you don't know when the Lord going to flip it on you. You get the point? He's down because he did something to you, but it's not for you to go gloat and be like, see, look how the Lord done jam me up. It's not for you to go gloat on it or make the situation worse. You get the point? Because now it could be the time gonna come when you had to pay for something you did. You understand? It's just like a parent having kids. Whether you beat one child, do you allow the other child to laugh at the child that's getting beaten? No, if you catch that happening, that next child might catch it too. Because you trying to build unity, you trying to bring correction and discipline to the house, but the discipline is not divisive. It's unity at the same time. You get the point? It's still one family. But of course, this world teaches something absolutely different. You get the point? Read it again from the top.
Verse 26. For they persecute him whom thou hast smitten. And they talk to the grief of those thou hast wounded.
And they talk to the grief of those who thou hast wounded. When you hear politicians and lawyers and everybody else talk about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, they speak to, their conversation is all about our grief. When I say all about our grief, meaning they bring more grief to us. Like their conversation isn't how to relieve our poverty, how to stop crime. Their conversation isn't that. Their conversation is, well, you know, let's make a bill. Anybody who intimidating anybody, you know, we could kick in their door, but hold up, that would mean the cops, you know, we intimidate people too. That's what the commissioner of police was saying to whoever is our politician. I'm gonna tell you how this meeting went. Say, nah, but our men do that. We use this tactic because of the hardened criminals of Laventille. We use this tactic against the hardened, you know, the hardened gangsters of Belmont, of Mova, right? So then they come back and say, okay, well, anybody who does intimidation and violent acts of criminal gang members, right? Criminal gang members. So in other words, you are telling me that these brothers who may or may not have engaged in criminal activity, not due to a choice, but circumstance, you now make it lawful for somebody to come and bring more grief to them. You understand? They that speak, they speak to our grief. If a brother gets arrested in a raid, is he going to get a fair trial? Is the judge going to be understanding and asked to see all the evidence? Is they, you know, is they gonna help him out and, you know, make sure he have proper clothes in there? I've seen videos with brothers in there barefoot in a jeans pants and no shirt. And it's not because it's hot. He came in the prison like that. So knowing that we're gonna face this anyway, you still make a bill to kick in the door and violate any sense of humanity we have still anyway. You are the gangster. You are the criminal. You are the evil on the earth. And I'm already hearing the arguments. I'm already hearing the arguments of, well, you're gonna call the police when them criminals kick in your door. I ain't gonna call the police. I'm gonna have something to meet him with it. But I'm gonna try to talk to him before I had to hurt him. I'm gonna try to reason with him before I had to hurt him. You get the point? Like even if, brother, they make it seem like everything that's wrong is brothers. When the coke coming in the $1 million man house, the guns coming in Valsena. Who remember last year where they had the how much $100,000 worth of AK-47s or something or AR-15s in the house in Valsena? That ain't coming in in John. That ain't coming in Beaton, Bungie Garland and bring that in.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Yes, sir. Even when they find the big container full of drugs, they don't touch down in right? And you understand all that to here. And don't when something I'm not walking. If they address to somebody and they hold nobody, or they know all kind of foolishness, all kind of thing like man, you know. Right. Yeah.
If you drive in a car and have drugs in it, even if you don't know it, you go into jail. We had to arrest the boat captain. We had to lock him up. We had to lock him up. We had to lock the crew up until somebody gets fed up of being inside there to say where you all stopped to get his drugs and who is the minister that behind this. You get the point? Read this again. Read from 25.
Like I said, Book of Psalms, chapter 69, verse 25. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents. For they persecute him whom thou hast smitten.
Right? Let their habitation be desolate. Right? And let none dwell in their tents, meaning this is the prayer for them. You ought to pray that the Lord makes them homeless. You understand? You see like how the Lord bring that volcano to Hawaii and just destroy white people's house? Make them bastards homeless, man. Pray that penal flood. They like pray that Claxton Bay and Davie flood out and bury everybody. Pray that earthquake comes and destroys the houses of them that oppressed us. Make them homeless. Make them desolate. Yes, nice to see you, Rocky. Shalom, Mark. Nice of you to join us, brother. Some time for your brothers. I appreciate that, Rocky. Shalom, warrior. I'm gonna have a drink for you. Go ahead.
For they persecute him whom thou hast smitten, and they talk of the grief of those whom thou hast wounded, and the iniquity unto their iniquity. And let them not come into thy righteousness. Verse 28. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous.
Right? Like that's how we have to, look at them and ask the Lord. Because what they do to us is something absolutely horrible. And let me tell you something, this is nothing new. This has been going on since, the days of Christ. Give me Luke 3 and start at 11.
Okay. The book of Luke, chapter 3 and verse 11. What you can say?
Okay.
He answered and said unto them, He that had 2 coats, let him impart to him that had one.
I may have called the wrong one for you. Start at 12, Salakia.
Book of Luke, chapter 3 and verse 12. Then came also publicans to be baptized, and said unto him, Master, what shall we do? And he said unto them, Exact no more than that which is appointed you.
Right? If you want, they came and asked you how shy. Publicans are who?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Politicians, politicians.
Politicians, tax collectors, those type of people, right? And they said, what should we do to, now that we baptized, right? What's next? Go ahead.
Verse 14. And the soldiers likewise demanded of him, saying, What shall we do? And he said unto them, Do violence to no man.
All right. All right. Stop right there. Keep reading.
Do violence to no man, neither accuse any falsely, and be content with your wages.
Okay, so who is Yahushua speaking to here?
Like yesterday.
Talking to Israelites who are in the Roman army.
How you know that?
At the beginning, he's talking to Israelites.
Okay, I mean, right there in the scripture, it's telling you, okay, if they come into Yahushua to be baptized, Christ ain't baptized and no heathen. Right? Or John, not Christ, John ain't baptized and no heathen. So this is publicans or politicians who working for the Roman government, working in Israel, but, working for Rome. And this are soldiers. What is the soldiers? Who are the soldiers?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Sean.
Yes, sir. Policemen, sir. Police law enforcement.
That would be a modern day law enforcement. They soldiers, they, legionnaires, Roman soldiers, but they walking through Jerusalem, walking through the streets in Israel, doing violence to people, exacting more than they were supposed to. Like if they come to collect money, they telling you, nah, you gotta give me 500 when you only owe 2. But they pocketing the next 3. You understand? And be content with your wages. What is police always talking about? Money. That's why he could bribe a cop, because he ain't getting paid. You understand? Go ahead.
Is station bail lawful?
Again?
Is station bail lawful?
Explain station bail.
I always say that thing on station bail. Like you can pay your bail in the station.
You could pay your bail in station?
Like station bail, like, alright, I put the witness the offenses, and you pay station bail. Like, that don't just go like mainstream.
Okay, but you gotta explain to me, what is station bail?
Alright, you do a crime, or whatever the case is, you accuse of a crime, whatever the case is, or they find a weed or something. I don't know if the weed kind it no, but certain things are like a car, you car get possessed of the cases, you can get station bail. You pay bail in the police station there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that something? Is it a lawful piece of paper you're signing, or is just a cop telling you, well, if you give me 500, you can walk out?
That's not. I didn't fucking get it.
No. I just explained to you.
I keep like, listen, now, don't try to bring me in. Hold on, partner. I just know it's paying. Don't bring me in your bangarang, brother. Like, listen, leave me out of that, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I ain't sure exactly what it mean, but I do know it's, you know, it's common practice. You know, he's suffering. He ain't got, I mean, he a man with needs too. He ain't getting enough pay. He got to work hard. Has some superintendent yell at him, spit up in his face, yelling. Of course, if he pull you over and you have a bad, you know, gold chain and you have $3,000 under the seat, he's going to take half of it. He's not going to be honest and, you know, call for evidence bags and carry you in the station and fill out a police report this thick. What do you? And he could just take $1,500 and send you on your way. Nah, he ain't doing that. You get the point? But yeah, how should I said? When the soldiers came, read it one more time.
And the soldiers likewise demanded of him, saying, and what shall we do? And he said unto them, do violence to no man, neither accuse any falsely, and be content with your wages.
Right? Do violence to no man. Why? Because they were beating niggas upside the head. Just like cops is doing now. Accuse no man falsely. Why? Because that's how you make half your cases stick. Yeah, pull him over. He was smelling a weed. He was belligerent. Yeah, he swing on me. Look, I got, and that's what Zimmerman said. Zimmerman said Trayvon Martin whoop his ass. Trayvon Martin did whip his ass, but them scratches is not, that ain't from that. I don't know if you remember when he just got arrested. He went to show you a bump in the back of his head. They say he had a broken nose. He did not have a broken nose. They would lie. They would lie and say all sorts of things. What's the other one name? Who killed Michael Brown? Darren Wilson. Darren Wilson said Michael Brown reached into the car and punched him and tried to take his gun. That ain't what happened. He pulled up, called him over, tell him come to the car, and grabbed him by his collar. You know, white men watching the TV think everybody, you know, think life is Rambo. That's what they think. They think life is first blood. He grabbed the brother, pull him in, and of course, he a black man. He strap him and whoop his ass in the car. And of course, the white boy is offended now, so he pull out the gun and he kill him. But shit, I ain't got to tell you, ain't no brother going and stick his head in a cop car and try to pull a gun, the cop's gun. Ain't no brother doing that. The brother who on crack cocaine ain't doing that. You understand? I'm just telling you straight up. We not doing that. A white boy might do that shit, but we not doing that. Get the point? That's what they do. They lie, violent to men, and rob. Right? Now, if you are a cop and you watching this and you in Trinidad and you offended by it, no problem. Come and join the school and learn how to change your life and to leave the system of oppression that destroys your own people. Because your offense comes from truth. Because you're part of a system that lies, is extremely violent to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and steals. And you're really part of a gang, the biggest gang there is. Who are the handler?
Like I said.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This scripture also be used, that is verse 13 or 14, or more primarily 14, as a precept for Acts 10 to the centurion.
Give me some more. What do you mean?
To show that they were Israelites.
You could use this as support.
Supporting you.
Cornelius?
Yeah.
Okay. That scripture doesn't say Cornelius was an Israelite, but it does give you the proof that there were Israelites in the Roman army or the Roman military. Right? There were soldiers in there. For Cornelius is a devout man. Right? Devout man. That devout man is that. A heathen can't be devout. Why?
Go
ahead.
If you have no part and parcel anymore, citing people.
Scripture. At this stage, you had to pull a scripture.
One can. So Romans 9, sir, verses 1 to 4.
Say again?
Romans chapter 9, verse 1 to 4, sir.
Nope. Something simpler, milk.
Psalm chapter 147, verse 19 to 20, sir.
Psalms 147, 19 and 20.
Okay.
I've given my law statutes unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. That's plain. That's clear. That's milk. A baby could understand that.
Okay.
No other nation has he given that to. So Indian can be devout. African can be devout to what? The law wasn't given to you. What are you devout to? You get the point? You can't be devout to anything if you don't even have it. It wasn't given to you. Right? Cornelius was an Israelite. So this has been going on a long time. Yeah, I'm gonna look at I'm gonna look some more at this bill. I'm gonna look some more at it because it is for sure, you know, the witchcraft of the nations.
Right.
You get the point? It's for sure, you know, where's crafty counsel? Right? Give me that too. Give me Psalms 83.
Another council. All that comes of it.
Done.
Book of Psalm chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silent, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and has consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right? They take crafty counsel against us. Everybody who was involved in this bill, if you could go back and do the research or go check it out now to see who the names are, it's heathens. Heathens who have, you know, financial influence. Heathens who have political influence. That's who put this bill together. And I guarantee you, somewhere in this bill, it damn near says, go to the ghetto and not to the rich area. Somewhere in this bill, somewhere you go through this thing with a fine-tooth comb, somewhere in this bill, it says that. You understand? You have to charge them for it. You have to charge them for it because it's evil. It's absolutely evil what they're doing. Go ahead, Ark.
Like I said, they will call it at-risk areas.
At-risk areas. What the hell does that mean? Oh, what? Explain to me at-risk. Something's at risk is risky? What the hell does at risk mean? You get the point? Like the white man is the devil. Easterners is the devil. The Africans is the devil. The Chinese is the devil. Wherever they at is an at-risk area. You get the point? Give me also James 2 and 6. Give me James 2 and 6 real quick.
Turn one con.
Go ahead,
James chapter 2 and verse 6. But ye have despised the poor. Do not rich men oppress you and draw you?
Read it again from the top.
But ye have despised the poor.
Ye have what?
Ye have despised the poor.
You have despised the poor. What does that mean, to despise the poor?
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
To hate them, to treat them with disregard, ill will.
That's it, to have a hatred for the poor. Despise, like a distaste for the poor. This evening, I'm in a car coming home. These Hamites, you never think they harm because, of course, they're in DC. They're walking around, you know, going to, you know, they're in school with the Howard people, you know what I mean? Coming to America 101. So they're dressing like Jake, even the woman who with them dressing like Jake. And is this brother, this homeless brother, who he in the middle of the street. Just, you know, he in the middle there, he just walking around. The light green, he just walking. He in business. You know what I mean? Might be mentally unstable, or he might be fully stable, just tired of life. And it's like, if somebody hit me, hopefully I die. You get the point? Yeah. So he walking around, and these disgusting Hamites, it took every ounce of me not to turn around and curse them out. Salakia. It took every ounce of me to just stay put and stay fine and just go to hell home. That was not the time and place for it. But they said, one of them, he said, man, I cannot stand this city. And the woman said, what's the problem? He said, is guys like these, man, too many Jesus of Nazareth walking around. So I'm like, it took me a while to put two and two together. And I'm like, oh. It was like a moment. I was like, oh shit. Then they start talking about how they went to church that morning. So in their mind, Christ was a bum. Mm-hmm. You understand? And church, of course, because of the prosperity doctrine, teaches you to hate the poor. So of course, you can't accept Christ unless he is rich. You understand? Jesus of Nazareth walking around. And of course, what pissed me off more is it's a brother walking around and these Hamites is talking shit. You understand? They have despised the poor. Always despised the poor. Meanwhile, I grew up watching them Hamites on TV wanting rice with a helicopter dropping rice for them. And the son on his belly crawling and flies all over him. Flies all over him, a tattered shirt. I grew up watching, you know, Michael Jackson and Dolly Parton hold hands and sing, "We are the world, we are the children," for your black ass. But you want to talk about too much Jesus of Nazareth walking around. I guess that rice fatten you up, though. That rice from the plane, that rice gets you good and strong. Strong enough. Ain't no more flies on your goddamn eyelids. You were so poor. Mm-hmm. But you have something to say about our people. They have despised the poor. They fully hate us. Fully hate us. Keep going.
Do not rich men oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats?
And draw you before the judgment seat. This bill came from rich men. This anti-gang bill came from rich bastards who do not care about the plight of poor people. Do not understand the life of poor people, so they must be made poor themselves. And a day is coming, brother, where they are going to be broke and in the street. It's prophesied in the Bible. Either that or death by the hands of the Lord. You remember last year that old crook, what's his name? Miles Monroe fall out the sky? You know Miles Monroe? Famous Benjamite priest. He's like the Creflo of Benjamin. Yeah. His plane fell out the sky. Literally fell out the sky. Yeah. And it's so spiritual. Where you heard where the plane landed, right? Where it crashed, I should say. You're not dumb. It landed, it crashed in a dump. You can go look it up. His private jet crashed in a, like a landfill.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead,
what's his name again?
Miles Monroe. MYLESMUNROE. Miles Monroe. He was as big as he could get when Benjamin on. It's him and another one named Frederick Casey Price. Them two niggas there, they wrongs up the wolves, brother. I can tell you that straight up. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay, sir. And like these fellas, they would get no. I wouldn't not pity, I would say. you know, I have a little bit of empathy, but I don't know what to call it, you know, because it's Israel. But in other words, these fellas are so scholastic, if I could say so. It's so scholastic that they would know the truth to that point because they wasn't average. It wasn't like couple that's still dumb in them fellas' lives.
Okay, I don't know what they know. I don't know what they know. I don't know what they ain't know. That's like philosophizing. He know the truth. I know what coming out their mouth is lies, though.
All right, yeah.
And I know I could attack that.
Yeah, right.
Now, will I glory in their death? No, I ain't gonna really. But I would say, you see what the Lord did to Eddie Long. You see what the Lord did to this one. I would say Most High in Christ, because now Eddie Long can't rape no more boys. Like, it came out to stop him from raping them boys. Give him a chance to repent and change his ways. He was proud. I got 5 stones and I didn't throw one yet. Right? He gets sick. Probably still wasn't stopping. Lord, the only thing to stop you is the grave. You can't rape nobody. You can't, you can't harm nobody, no problem. Go sleep there for a little while. You'll come back. You'll come back, no problem. Miles Monroe, you telling everybody about love of the whole world and Christ is white and blah, 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 blah. Ain't no sweat. Let our plane lose, let's call it lose, altitude.
Yeah.
Losing altitude, Miles. God is good all the time. All the time. I guarantee you they was on the plane cussing like, niggas. What the fuck is going on? And the cursing up. You don't sweat, no problem. You can't steal from people no more. You can't do it no more, and it's the Lord who's handling it. Get the point? Give me quickly Psalms 51. You was looking it up, Gabar?
I found it. But the Miles Monroe.
Miles Monroe. What does it say? What does it say?
Oh, Slaki, hold on. I go back. Well, it just gives his bio.
Yeah, for the plane crash, maybe.
Okay, go. Okay, says on CBN News, Bahamas aviation investigators are searching for the cause of the deadly plane crash that killed prominent pastor Miles Monroe, his wife Ruth, and 7 others. The crash happened Sunday afternoon as people were gathering in Grand Bahama for his ministry's Global Leadership Forum. Aviation experts say the Lear 36 executive jet had departed from Nassau, the capital of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and crashed about 5 p.m. while attempting to land at the Bahamas International Airport. The jet exploded when it collided with a shipyard crane on its approach, local news outlets reported. Painful sobs could be heard when the church leaders broke the news Sunday to the participants at Leadership Summit.
Okay, probably I had to pull the picture of the actual way it crashed out. That explained it. If it's a crane thing, then I could understand that. But brother, it was debris strewn all over that. It wasn't a regular plane site.
Right.
It looked like it was the dumper. But regardless, he's dead and gone. You understand? He's absolutely dead and gone. And the Lord did it. Lord did it. All right? Lord did it. Give me Psalms 51 and 17.
Cancer. What I came to the book of Psalms, chapter 51, verse 17. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit and a broken and contrite heart, whom thou will not despise.
Somebody else hold John 3 and 3. John 3 and 3, I'm going to give you 2 more. I read it again. Read Psalms again.
The book of Psalms, chapter 51 and verse 17. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit and a broken and contrite heart.
Right? The sacrifices of the Most High are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. Somebody explain.
Like I said,
Come on.
in context, is it a genuine spirit to seek the Lord? That no, you have to look at not genders.
This one here is different. This one is different. A little bit different.
Salaki?
Go ahead.
The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit. Is it saying that if you have a broken and contrite spirit, that the Lord will not despise you if you have those, like not so as to say not to be prideful?
You answered.
Okay, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay, try, right? A broken spirit is a totally honest, like be like father, you know what I mean? Straightforward. Very straightforward, humble like this day. I ain't trying to do nothing. I just want to be clean, you know what I mean? Like
okay, that's not what you're gonna be saying.
Right.
But you gotta you gotta deliver that shit for me to understand that. You gotta bring that shit home, man.
Sir.
Go ahead, who's that? Simba? I thought it was Rocky for a second there.
I was going up to.
You see, Rocky, in the spirit, I saw you this out. In the spirit, y'all don't see it. I'm seeing Rocky going up. Go ahead.
A broken spirit is bringing itself to obey the laws of the Most High.
And this is something you're only gonna learn in the UPK. And this is something I pray it doesn't take you there for you to really understand the Lord.
So like I said.
Go ahead.
One more try. The broken spirit is in the context of somebody who loses everything.
Okay.
In that, so like a Job experience. Where you can't depend on nothing else but the Most High because you have lost everything that you can hold on to, that you cherish.
Okay. Yes and no. Yes and no, because I don't like to use Job as an example because the average brother, his rib don't call him back for 2 days and he on Facebook, I feel like Job. You know what I mean? You go into Port of Spain, you get 4 flat tires. Oh boy, the trials of Job. I experienced it, Israel. I experienced it, Israel. Keep your head up, Israel. Yeah, I mean, what Job went through was, brother. I mean, it was on purpose. That's how horrible it was. It's somebody doing something on purpose. So I never like to use Job as an example for hardship for brothers because what Job went through, none of us going through that in a lifetime. I mean, you ain't going through that, I ain't going through that, and none of us know somebody who did.
Go
ahead.
This is more or less the broken spirit is more or less when you get in boss, you do wickedness and you ain't trying to hide in left. You come clean to the most and say, I recognize exactly what you do. You understand? So you're going.
You're on to it. Come on, Rocky. Let me hear you.
That spirit is more honest. You understand? Open and honest.
Okay, that first part was good. That first part of Kimo was right. Rocky, I'm learning you all. I'm learning when how to stop you for the correct answer. Because if I keep going, you're gonna just go off the cliff with like them pigs with the damn thing. Yeah, and that's how to stop you. All right, stop right here. Don't say no more. All right, go ahead, Rocky.
Right, like giving up the lost and the world, right? And coming up to the most side. So like things that were like they like, you ain't liking it no, right? You find it difficult to come and do things what is right now.
Say that one more time.
Right, giving up the lost and the world. You lost and the world, right? So things that you like in the world, right? So now you're coming to do new things what we're not accustomed to. What is right?
It's different than that. A little different. That's the trials of it. But okay.
So like I said, one more.
Hold on. Let me get Clyde. I think he's smart. Clyde behind Andrew. When Andrew turned his face like this, Clyde turned right behind. When Andrew bent down to write notes, Clyde bent down right there. So he had his right. Looking like it's just Andrew and then who in the back there? Nigel. It looking like it's just Andrew and Nigel. You understand? But what he didn't do, he leave his knee outside, so I seen a knee outside. You gotta mark the shadow a little tighter than that. Come on, Clyde. Let me hear it.
No, Contrite. Basically, it's the point when the Mosai strip away who it was before, the ways it was before, that he could communicate with you.
Okay. Akim, let me hear you.
Yeah, I would more say basically what it's taken is that is when the Mosai bring it a pure state. And when I say pure, I mean strip your pride and ego.
Okay. Who's the last man? Who I hear from yet on this? Simba.
Yeah, from you,
Simba's like, listen, don't come around here. Pass me straight, skip over me.
Andrew. Yeah.
Andrew, come on with it.
Well, I will say that more or less guiltiness in the sense that you come to serve the Most High now, so you're bringing all your guilt before Him.
All right. I'm going to come back to your answers and show you where it is, all right? Come on, Nigel, last one.
Yes, sir. Is it in context of same Psalm 51, of the reason why David wrote this psalm was because of the crime he committed, quote unquote, when he realized at this point that the Most High could kill him for what he did. And he was at such a broken state when he recognized what he did. His spirit, because he knew what he did was totally against the Most High. And at that point, he was broken to beg for forgiveness.
Okay. It's good you give the context of it. All right. It's good you give the context of it, but you're still missing something. Okay. How do you get broken?
So like you said,
Go ahead.
Confessing your transgressions.
That don't break nobody. Them Catholics confessing every goddamn Sunday morning, and by 11:30 they in some child behind. Every Sunday morning they go in the cathedral and forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. And the priest on the other side playing with himself. Tell me your sin, child. Go on. And what did you do? The priest inside there getting off as you confessing your sins, and that ain't doing nothing. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, yes, sir. That's when they get the boss, when they get punished, when they most like punish you, break you. That is broken.
Okay. Clyde?
So here, so the point where the Most High is bringing it to a point that you have no other way but to follow the way of the Most High. You try your way and everything else fail, and you had to just follow the way of the Most High.
Clyde have a nice way of putting that across. You try your way and it fail. You know, both you all right, but okay, your way ain't just fail. Your way, he made sure it did not succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And he ain't just make sure it didn't succeed. He hurt you over it. You understand? You hurt over it. Say again, Kabal?
Is that to say, like, when it says the Lord turns his face from you?
Okay. When he turns his face from you is to let whatever happen to you. That's when he lets it happen. But then there's another point where he's hurting you. Him.
Okay.
He's the one made you lose your children. He's the one, you know, made you lose your slavery in the middle of winter. He's the one that, you know, make you get sick. He's like, there's a point now where it's like, that point where you borderline angry with the Lord and recognizing he is the one doing it. You see that point where I give up. I can't do nothing else. What do I have to do now? I can't take it no more. That point where you had attack. You're broken. You're broken and you're frustrated and you're angry and you're crying and you're begging and you're pleading, and then you realize he's the one doing it. So when Nigel, when you said what happened with Job, you're right. That's exactly what happened with Job. I just don't like to use the Job example for the reasons I told you. But that point when that's it, you done. You ready to check out. You understand what I mean when I say ready to check out? You ready for it to be over. You done. So it's a little bit more than the guilt. Like how you, Andrew say, bringing the guilt forward. This is more when you realize that he is against you. You understand? When you realize he is against you, and you have to humble down. You have to humble pie and lose your ego and beg the Lord to stop hurting you. That's broken. Look up contrite. Go ahead, Nigel.
Is it any point when he bring it up open shame?
Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean open. It could be open. Bill Cosby was put to open shame. You think that nigga gonna come find the truth?
No.
Go ahead, Clyde.
A good example of that is Jonah. And he didn't want to do the will of the Most High, and the Most High bring him to that place that he have to do it.
Okay. Job is better. Because Jonah, you know why Jonah went and still do it? Jonah, you're right. Jonah did it because, of course, he realized there's no getting away from the Lord. But Jonah didn't go warn Nineveh with the mindset of, I have to warn these people. Jonah did it like, well, this nigga coming to kill y'all. You're gonna die. You're gonna die. That's why he was upset when the Lord did not kill them. You understand? And the Lord had to check him after. But Job is better because at first Job he was like, what's going on? I am perfect. I ain't do nothing wrong. I ain't do nothing wrong. I ain't do nothing wrong. I am wrong. I'm the one that's wrong. Something has to be wrong with me. But again, I don't like using Job example. Just think to the point in your life, brother. If you have experienced it, I pray that you have not experienced it and you're one of those brothers that can learn to have that spirit without being broken. But there's going to come a time, or not going to, but there could come a time where you're at your lowest star. You're at your lowest, you just about had it. You're done with life. You're finished. And that prayer to the Lord is how, as you see, it's clean, it's pure. You have no motive. You just want the shit to stop and you're ready to do whatever he says. You understand? The Lord prefers that than you killing a goat. The Lord prefers that than, you sacrificing a bullock.
So like I said,
The Lord, he prefers that. Go ahead, Nigel.
This example we use as well, Elijah, when Jezebel was looking for him and he was like, better die. In a way, but okay, not really, because Elijah was not disobeying the Lord. You get the point? He was being persecuted. He was on the run. You get the point? This is more somebody who is disobeying the Lord and think a sacrifice can make up for it. Meaning, you get caught speeding, you pay the ticket, right? You get caught speeding, you pay the ticket. After a while, out of your check, you start doing what? Putting aside ticket money. Because you're going to speed. Right? You already know you're going to speed Saturday night, brass semis or brass, festival, whatever you're going to. And you're going to speed. Arrive alive my ass. I'm gonna arrive early. I'm gonna get there first. You're going to speed. But what if one day you speed, get in an accident and you kill your son? Or you kill your daughter, or Lord forbid you kill your wife who you love so much. I'll give you one deeper. You kill one of them brothers who in the room with you and have to explain to their family who already didn't like you because you were telling him about some black Jesus. You got to explain to them that though you were Hebrew Israelite and you did in the truth and Christ is black, you couldn't obey speed laws. So now their son or their father or their brother or their husband is dead. That will do something to your spirit. That will make it drop to your knees and say, Lord, if I could take it back, just give the brother back his life. I won't speed again. Lord, bring back my son. I ain't going to speed again. Bring back my daughter. I ain't going to do it again, Lord. Do whatever you want. Look, I'm done with all this. I'm ready to give it up. Look, and you rip up all the weed, break up the weed pipe. Look, Lord, look. I ain't exaggerating. That's what literally be happening in people's spaces. I'm done. Them sisters, take off the weave, the blonde hair and cut the shit up. Throw all the whole clothes in a bucket and throw bleach on it. Throw all the stilettos and the red bottoms in the trash. I'm done, Lord. I'm fed up. I'm tired of men walking out and I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. I'm done. At that point, you're ready to change. But guess what? Guess what? Who knows what? Your son ain't coming back. Your daughter ain't coming back. But you're going to have to obey the Lord. You understand? The Lord prefers the spirit of a man or a woman who is humble, who is meek, who wants to serve him, who wants to do what he wants to do, versus the proud, big-headed person. The Lord prefers the low. He prefers that type of person.
And like any good parent, you don't want to kill your son to bring you to that point. You don't want to kill your woman to bring you to that point. He don't want to hurt you to bring you to that point. But he will. He will. Which one of you have a child you love and you ain't enjoy whooping their ass? If you do, you might need some help. So like here, you might go in there and buy a whole new belt. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with this. Most of you can't even talk loud to your own kid. Because it hurts you to see them hurt. But you must hurt them in order to get order in the house. And that's the Lord.
Right.
The Lord prefers a broken and contrite spirit. And he will break you to get it. You understand? He will break you to get it. So now, as you're examining yourself and you're moving along, if you're seeing that things ain't going right and things ain't adding up and things is left, right, and every month is something new, what you want to do is start checking yourself. See how you're walking with the Lord. See how you're rolling with the Most High. See how you're rolling in the Spirit of the Lord. Because he could be trying to break you out. Could be trying to harm you. He could be trying to get your attention, in other words. Could be trying to do it. But it would be perfect to have that spirit without being broken. How you get that spirit? Give me what this is I called for before. John? Not John. Go ahead.
Do you still want definition of contrite?
Give me definition of contrite.
Feeling or expressing remorse or penitence affected by guilt.
Right? You see Andrew, you see where the guilt come in? But the broken spirit comes before that. You understand? So now they're making the anti-gang law to kicking gang leaders' doors and everything else. But anybody who ever knows somebody who really, who done committed murders, that's a heavy burden on a brother's shoulder. Any brother who did something absolutely horrible, it's a heavy burden now. You don't be the same after that. And the white man, he, of course, make the movies where you glorify killing your brother. So you think, okay, you had to do it and it was right. But you ever been on the pulling end of that trigger and had to live with it afterwards? It changes you. It does something to you. Forget about the whole, revenge looking over your shoulder for some shit. For the rest of your life, you got to look for when your revenge coming. When is your time? When somebody going to squeeze it on you? But I'm talking about now, you done did it. 2-3 years later, you mature out of whatever you was into. And you wish you never pulled that trigger. You wish you never stabbed that dude. You wish you never did this. But guess what? He ain't coming back. He ain't coming back. You gotta live with that till you die. Your sisters done been simple in the world, following after these hoes. You done had babies and abortions. You had more bodies than you than any gangster in the world. That shit affects a woman. That's why she halfway crazy. She do think about that dead child. Her body reacts to that dead child. You get the point? Until she wants one of her own, and guess what the doctor tells her? That womb ain't good no more. She still had to obey the Lord. That belly ain't coming back unless the Lord with you. You get the point? The Lord would much rather have you in that spirit without breaking you. He would much rather have you like that without it. All right? Give me, what does he want to ask for? Is John or Luke?
John 3:3.
Yeah, give me that real quick.
All I can have it. Book of John 3:3. Yahushua answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God.
All right. Except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. What is that talking about?
Salakia.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you put away your old man and change yourself completely, meaning to follow the laws now and not be who you were in the world. Come out of the world.
That's true, but way simpler. Way simpler.
Like yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Right now. Unless that man forget everything that he used to know and learn to do right, learn to walk upright and learn to serve him outside. He wouldn't see you in the money outside.
Simpler.
Salakia.
Go ahead.
Unless a man be born again, meaning willing to learn new things. Is that simpler?
If you're born again, what are you? If you're born again today, right? You ask a Christian, are you born again? Yeah. When did you get saved? I got saved on June 29th. What does that mean about August 1st? Niger.
Like I said, I answer like the first part of the question where you come back to a childish state where we go to receive.
That's the answer to both questions. On August 1st, you're a child. If you were born on June 29th, you're just born again.
Right.
On August 1st, you had to be a child.
Right.
You can't walk around like you know everything. You was just born last week. You got to be humble like a child. You got to receive instruction like a child. You understand? That spirit that a child has is the spirit that an adult has after they done got broken and contrite. Now you're ready to listen. Now you're ready to do everything. You ever see siblings? You leave siblings alone in a room for a while, right? One child starts, I don't know, climbing on top of the TV. The other child says, get down. The child on top of the TV says, why? The other child says what? Anybody who ever experienced it?
Like yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Mommy or daddy will cut the tail.
You're on it. You're on it. Nigel?
Mommy said don't go.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That next child says, well, why I can't do this? Daddy said so. Why you can't eat pork? Because God said so. Why I can't do this? Because God said so. See how simple that is? But as adults, you have to lose something. You got to get locked up for 15 years for nothing, for something you didn't do. You understand? You got to get, molested or raped or beaten into an inch of your life, get reconstructive surgery all over your face, sleepless nights to understand and learn. You get the point? As an adult, you have, and that's because of Christianity. It's not like we just like that. Because of the Christian church, now you have to be broken to be mended. You understand? You got to be broken now to be fixed. It's like a bone that healed bad. You have a broken hand or a broken foot and it ain't healed right. They breaking that shit over. You understand? They're breaking that over and setting it in place, and it hurts. It hurts, and you're going to have to get, you get fixed. The Lord prefers that type of spirit. Give me Ezekiel 18. Who got a hand up? Last scripture. What is it, Nigel? Go ahead.
Yeah. Something similar. I heard a story of a guy. I think he was a hammer, but the story was like he was a street walker, and he heard a preacher. He believed in the preacher, and he decided to change his life. And he turned into a multi-millionaire. And he was living the life, more or less. And what quote unquote broke him,
that he was walking the streets and some street kids robbed him and beat him. And he was looking at, that same position where he was. Those children, he forgot that childish state. That's where he was. And it was only then when he recognized that, then he made that change. That address it.
Where does that happen? He get robbed and what?
Yeah, some street kids robbed him. The same state he was in from before he turned a millionaire. I forgot. Those same kids who on the streets robbed him as a big man.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. And now he realized how he had to. Well, shit. Maybe that changed him. I don't know. Or maybe he just don't want to get robbed no more. You get the point? Maybe he don't want to get robbed no more. But what I'm talking about is, brother, you in a cell wondering, how did I get here? You understand? If you ever experienced it or know somebody who experienced it, that's what you're going to, that's the last thought on your mind. You understand? You leaving the strip club at 4 in the morning with a Gucci bag and a Louis Vuitton bag and your phone in your hand, and you jump in the Uber and you have an attitude. Now your bag full of money. Then you go home and drink yourself to sleep. And your last thought is, how the hell did I get here? Where I have to shake my behind fully naked for everybody to see me for money. He's hurting you. Bringing you to a point now where you now going to turn to him. You understand? But you could be like that without being broken. The Lord prefers it like that. Give me Ezekiel 18 and 21, quickly.
Hello,
Give me Clyde.
18 and 24. All our kings of it? But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live. He shall not die.
You understand? The Lord wants us to obey him. Like any parent with children, you want your child to obey you and do what you say. You get the point? Give me verse 23.
Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die?
Right, read that again.
Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die?
One more time, just for good measure.
Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die?
Now you keep this in mind when somebody says niggas deserve to die. When somebody says, you're just a bunch of animals, kill everybody. Like how them Indians be saying when them brothers be get shot dead. You know what I mean? Young brothers, 15, 16, 18 years old, 2 shots to the chest. Kill all of them, bunch of monsters. Have I any pleasure that the wicked should die? That's what the Lord said. The Lord will kill you. But you think he want to? Which child, which father wants to kill his child over a transgression? None. None. But the Lord will kill us over it, though. Keep going.
Saying the Lord God, and not that he should return from his ways and live.
Right? The Lord wants you to turn from your ways and live. That's it. That's the sacrifice. He wants a broken and contrite spirit. So now you're ready to leave all that shit behind and obey him. Keep that in mind for yourself and when dealing with people. It'll help a whole lot. You're dealing with people, you seeing what's going on with them, you know, okay, the Lord is stepping in on this thing here. I can't do nothing about that. You understand? Your love for whichever person, could be a friend or a family member, your love for them doesn't supersede what the Lord wants. You understand? What you could do is pray for them. You could pray for anybody who has not died yet. You understand? Pray for them, that they learn their mistake. You get the point? That they learn from their ways. You understand?
Okay.
Go ahead. No, I think that's it. That's it. All right. Anything else? Quickly, I think we're right over the time. If anything else, you're probably going to have to wait until tomorrow. I know General teaching should be teaching tomorrow or next week. All right. Go ahead, Nigel.
Clyde.
Clyde, Salaki.
I came across a story in the Bible that I never saw before. So, is with Elisha when he had cursed his servant with leprosy. He and his seed. That he and his seed would rise in Kings, the book of Kings. Yeah, when he took your money.
First, Akim, you'll kill the crosstalk. Let him answer let him say the whole question first, all right?
Okay.
Go ahead, Clyde. Say where it is.
Basically I came across this story. So I was wondering, well, I heard he said that he cursed him and his seed forever. If his descendants would still be basically on earth today. In that state.
I believe so. I believe those things are like binding. Let me ask the general, because that's not the only instance of it. David did the same thing to Joab. I don't know if you remember that. You all know who David is, right? You all know who Joab is?
Nah.
All right, maybe we'll go over it in the next couple of Sundays. It'll take a few, maybe two classes to get through the whole thing. At one time, Israel was in a civil war over the throne, right? It's so funny. Game of Thrones, written by Jewish people, the book written by a Jewish man, and Israel, there was a war over the throne. You understand? There was the all families alliance, and in the same Game of Thrones, one family symbol is the lion, the next family symbol is the wolf. Judah is the lion, Benjamin is the wolf, the north, king of the north, the south. I mean, everything comes from the Bible when you really look at it. But at one time there was a war for the throne. When after Saul was removed from the throne, David was the chosen one. Then Saul died. Right? I'm just giving you the backdrop to everything. David was chosen in private. When Samuel went to anoint David, it was not a public thing. And Samuel told David's father he was just sent to anoint him. He didn't make it known that he was anointing the king. Samuel knew and the Lord knew. The Lord told Samuel, go find the new king. So when Saul died, naturally the throne went to Saul's son, right? Jonathan died with Saul, so it did not go to Jonathan. It went to... is Abimelech? Abimelech or someone with a sh. I forget who, right? It went to him. By that time, the kingdom split. David had mighty men. The army split. David was captain of the host of Israel. Some men rolled with David. There was another mighty captain who David came up under named Abner, who was a Benjamite. Abner's allegiance was to the throne, or what he thought was the throne at that time. And Joab's allegiance was to David because Joab was one of David's men at the time. All right? And there was a whole war between Abner and Joab and the young men. And then something happened one day where Saul's son accused Abner of doing something foul. I think having sex with Saul's woman or some dumb shit. Something that was beneath Abner, right? Something that, and Abner was like, I see why we lose in all these battles, because every battle they fought, it was a continual decline where David's men would win. And this battle, they killed 80-something men. Next battle, it was 200. Next battle, it was 500. This is over the space of years, maybe like 15, 20 years, right? So Abner turned to him and said, how could you accuse me of this? Don't you know who I am and what I do? He said, I see now that I've made a mistake. I see why we're losing now. You are not really the king. David is the king. And I swear this day I will translate the kingdom from your throne to his. And Abner went to meet David privately to explain the situation to him and to make an allegiance with him, that he would go to the rest of Israel and make them bend the knee to David, right? Abner was a mighty captain and very much respected. Now, earlier on, Abner killed Joab's little brother in a war. He didn't want to kill him. He did not mean to kill him. It was really by accident. There was no intention. In fact, he asked Joab's little brother, his name is Asahel. He told Asahel, leave him alone. He said, you can't fight with me. He said, go find a young man to fight with who is more your speed. Asahel had ambition. He wanted a captain's skull or a captain's, he wanted to say he took down a, mighty captain. Abner killed him. As far as Joab concerned, Abner killed his little brother. Joab ain't let the shit go. When Joab found out Abner met with David, Joab went behind David's back, approached Abner, told Abner David wanted to see him. And when Abner came back to the city, Joab and his men killed Abner. Right? When David heard of it, David cried. David said, listen, nigga, you ain't know what you just did. Abner left Benjamin and the rest of Israel. Everybody know he was coming to meet with me to discuss peace terms. We had peace. Now he ain't returned and you killed him. People ain't gonna know you killed him. It's gonna look like David killed Abner. And the whole nation gonna erupt in another war. Joab said, he said, let it be known and recorded that I wash my hands of this murder. I had nothing to do with this. But he didn't strip Joab down at that time. On his deathbed, he told Solomon, make sure Joab does not go to his grave easy. And he cursed the entire house of Joab for what he did. Because after that, David had to go to war with Israel. A ton of David's wars was against the 12 tribes. To do what? You bring them to that contrite spirit to make them say, all right, David, I don't need no more. You killed enough. I'm done. You get the point? A ton of it was that. You understand? So to answer your question, I do believe when it comes down like that in the Bible, I do believe it's something that could be binding. Just like, the blessings and the curses. You get the point? The blessings are binding. You know what I mean? Judah is a lion's whelp. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. That shit ain't gonna end. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. That's binding. You get the point? I do believe it is binding, but I could ask just for more clarity from the general. All right? But we could go into that history. The history with kings in 2 Kings, 1 Kings, Samuel, Chronicles. That's why the church don't like the Old Testament. But brother, that is straight up and down, That's Israel. If you understand gangs and how things is on the street, you could appreciate that part of the Bible. Because it's brothers with power trying to rule. Not politicians, but brothers who in power and trying to establish rulership and government and establish the truth. You really understand it, all right? So maybe we do that next week and the week after, all right? We do the then over the time plenty. We're gonna do the announcements and Our Father today, all right? We are the I.S.U.P.K. out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command of Gen.YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in Numbers 18 and 21, and Malachi 3, 8 through 10. Tithes means tenth. In the Hebrew, it is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or the teacher. Priest fund is a free will offering for the priest, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, when we just had the closing of the Feast of First Fruits. I believe the next one is in September, blowing of trumpets. I think it's 3 in September, blowing of trumpets, Day of Atonement, something else. All right. We have, pay attention to the social media, ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for UPK events and materials. We have the Fire Weekend coming up in Detroit, June 14 to 16. Definitely, I'm going to make it across to Detroit. We have the Harlem Cookout, August 5th. We have the DMV Blast Cookout. I think that's going to be in the end of August as well. We have California down there in November. Also, Indianapolis having the Black Expo weekend. That's another weekend, I think, in July. We're going to rock that. And there's some lectures coming up too. I think Desariac have another lecture that same weekend as August 5th. All right. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes boots, shirts, pants, headband, or headscarf. All right. And with that, we're going to say Imadium, which means to stand. All right. Wapanyawa Hakudam, which means rise and face the east, whichever direction is east. Which direction is east for you all? All right, cool. You're facing it. All right. And we're going to do this, the Lord's Prayer. Galawan, you want to try the Hebrew?
Okay.
Let's go.
This is the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Abashemaya.
Abashemaya.
Badash.
Aya.
Power.
Power.
Maka. Abaa. Ratazaka.
Aya.
Baharatazaka.
Aya.
Bashamaya. Tana. Danawa. Laham. Kal. Yawam. Wasalak Lanawa. Kawabwat Nawa. Kasalah Nawa. Kawabwat Yanawa. Wala. Tabayan Yanawa. Banasayan Wan. Kabal. Hawashainawa. Ayan. Rai. Kaya. Naka. Hamalakwa. Wahala. Wahasa para. La'ai walamyan. Amen.
Thank Christ. Y'all give God one hand for that, man. Good job. I'll keep practicing it, all right? All right, in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors.
And we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not
Lead us not
to temptation,
into temptation,
but deliver us
deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
Thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
That's right. Gonna do one courtesy salute. Go ahead, Galawan, you know what to call it? Men of Israel, at Magyam Shabbat, your hands behind your back like this, and you're moving your right foot only. Right? Everything is your right foot. Madyam is standing at attention, fist pointing down, heels together, toes apart. Barak, you'll go ahead and salute. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Barakathum. Yajim Matah, which means hands down. Sa, which means to turn your face, the sister. Simba, does the sister know the salute? All right. Men of Israel, Madyam Shabbat. Madyam. Barak. Last dismissed. Musa and Christ. Hey, goodbye again, 2 out of 2 hours.
I am the bar, sir. Anytime.
All right, Musa and Christ. Lord, we see you next week, all right?
All right. How about you, try Barakathum?
Musa and Christ. All right, let's get things moving.